A recent poll by Newsweek suggests that Gen Z and younger millennials are less likely to describe themselves as patriotic compared to other Americans. And these findings actually reflects a broader cultural political shift that's been tracked for years and not really unexpected, as younger generations have to have their sort of falling out with the country as Americans and then come back to the center or come back to the reality of patriotism. But it's not happening with the younger generations at this point in time. Researchers note that younger generations, younger Americans at least, are not necessarily rejecting the country thought process entirely, or the love of country, if you will, but they're doing it in different ways. They're showing a lot of skepticism. They're showing that the slogans and symbols and unquestioned national loyalty that folks of the older Gen X and the older generations, such as the baby boomers and silent generations, sort of fell in line with, and just aren't quite going with it. There's more criticism of problems. There's more actions for adequacy. There's more asking questions on why we can't fix things. And in some cases, actually trying to fix things. Younger generations tend to contribute to these attitudes because of a lot of things they've dealt with: economic instability, political polarization, things like COVID-19 and Great Recession that they took on from a young age and had to grow into and out of, as opposed to us at older ages that we had to deal with in the real time. Their view of government, especially as they get a chance to see more social media worldviews and other people's views of themselves and us, can actually do more to damage, if you will, how they view those folks and us. It's not as traditional as it was for these older generations, where we had the Cold War, we had post-World War II. The wars that the younger generations have lived through and suffered through, if you will, have been mostly wars of convenience, wars of consequences that have been unnoticeable, and literally forever wars with no real point. And, we just don't seem to get along with each other very well anyway. So why should they follow our lead? Or worse, why should they not blow it up to an even bigger perspective? Younger generations not claiming to be as patriotic as younger generations, as older generations should say. Is this going to be a problem for us older people, or a bigger problem for the younger people who won't actually fall in line, fall into the mechanisms of government, mechanisms that control things, and have the right sort of control, have the right sort of sense of how things work when they are in charge? I'd like to know what you think about that.